This episode contains discussions of death in conflict. No graphic content is shown. Names of the deceased are used with respect. Before we start, I need you to understand something. The people in this story, the Kenyans who died in Ukraine, they have names, families, dreams that ended in frozen mud thousands of kilometers from home. Clinton Nyapara Mogesa. From Kisii County, he left Kenya looking for work, the kind of work that pays in dollars, that sends money home, that makes your mother proud. He ended up in the Russian military, and then he ended up dead in a war that has nothing to do with Kenya. Sadly, Clinton is not alone. According to Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, over 200 Kenyans may have joined the Russian military and have been deployed to Ukraine. 200. That's not a rumor. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's our government saying we have a problem and we are not even sure how big it is. Some are dead. Some are missing. Some are prisoners of war, and some are still out there waiting to die. So, two questions. How did Kenyan men end up as cannon fodder in Vladimir Putin's war? And why is nobody stopping it? Let's rewind, because nobody wakes up in Nairobi and thinks, you know what? I should join the Russian army and go fight in Ukraine. That's not how things work. This is a system, and like all systems that chew up poor people and spit out profit, it starts with a promise. For years, Kenyans have been flying to the Gulf, the Qatar, the UAE, Saudi, for work. Construction, domestic work, security. It's not glamorous, but it pays better than Nairobi. And when you're 25 and unemployed and your family is counting on you, you take the risk. But here's where it gets really dark. Some of those Gulf jobs, they're not in the Gulf, they're in Russia. Investigators have documented the playbook. It goes something like this. Step 1, the ad. Jobs in Russia. Security, construction, logistics, good pay, visa arranged. Step 2, the hook. Recruiter, sometimes Kenyan, sometimes Russian contact. You'll work for a Russian company. 6 months contract. Fly out next week. Step 3, the trap. Ticket paid. Now you owe the recruiter. Arrive in Russia. Passport is taken for registration. Contract in Russian. You can't even read it. Temporary accommodation in military barracks. Step 4, the reveal. Congratulations. You're in the Russian armed forces. Here's a uniform. Here's a gun. You're going to Ukraine. And at that point, what are you going to do? You're in Russia. You don't even speak the language. You have no money. Your passport is gone. Your family thinks you're building roads in Moscow. You're trapped. Now, let's be clear. Not everyone is tricked. Investigative reporting shows some recruits some recruits knew they were joining a military force. They were promised Russian citizenship, combat pay, bonuses. For some young men, that was worth the risk. Russian military offers citizenship pathways to foreign fighters, reported. Pay as good as $2,000 to $3,000 per month versus Kenyan average of $200 per month. But even for those who said yes, I don't think they understood what combat really meant. Because this isn't Call of Duty. This is frozen trenches, artillery barrages, and commanders who see African recruits as expandable. You're not a soldier. You're a number. And when your number is up, nobody is calling Nairobi. Labor rights groups in Kenya have been raising alarms. They're seeing a pattern. Men go to the Gulf legally, work there for a few months, then disappear. Next time the family hears from them, WhatsApp messages from Russia. Or worse, no messages at all. Clinton Mogesa's family has said he went through Qatar. We don't know if that was the recruitment route or just coincidence, but the fact that we are even asking that question tells you how broken this system is. Look, I need to say this part, because if we don't talk about why young Kenyans are desperate enough to take these jobs, then we are missing the whole point. Kenyan youth unemployment between the ages of 15 to 24 is about 40%. University graduates unemployed, underemployed. Majority average monthly income in the informal sector is about 15,000 Kenya shillings, or roughly $100. We've built an economy where a degree means absolutely nothing. Where hustling is a virtue because formal employment is all a fantasy. Where your parents sold a piece of land to send you to university and you end up selling credit or fruit on the street. So when a recruiter says Russia, $2,000 a month, visa sorted, you don't ask questions. You just say yes. Because staying in Kenya, that's a slow death. And at least overseas, you might have a chance. That's the lie, by the way, that overseas is better. Sometimes overseas is just a faster death in a foreign language, in a foreign trench, for a country that doesn't even know your names. Okay, I'm going to tell you what happens when these men get to Ukraine. But I'm not going to give you the gore. I'm not going to describe wounds or bodies or the sounds people make when they're dying. That's not journalism. That's trauma porn. And these Kenyan men deserve better. But what I will tell you is the pattern, because the pattern is enough. According to testimony from African survivors who've been able to escape and claimed asylum in a third country, here's what training looks like. 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes less. Basic rifle handling, no language instruction, commands in Russian, no cultural integration, immediate deployment to assault units. Assault units. That's a euphemism. It means you go fast, you draw fire, you find the mines, you die. So Russian soldiers do not have to. Rwandan soldier that escaped, we'll call him Jean, age 28, now asylum seeker. Jean was promised a factory job in Russia. Told he'd make 2,000 euros a month. When he arrived, he was handed a uniform. No training. Russian commanders do not speak English. You go forward or you get shot from behind. I saw men from Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, most dead within weeks. Jean escaped during a chaotic withdrawal. He's now in a refugee camp. He has PTSD. He can't go back to Rwanda. His family thinks he's a mercenary, a disgrace. He can't stay in Russia. He is stateless. That's what survival looks like. Imagine this. You're in a trench. Artillery is incoming. Your commander is screaming orders in Russian. You don't speak Russian. The guy next to you doesn't even speak Russian too. You have no idea if he's saying take cover or advance or even retreat. So you guess. And sometimes you guess wrong. And if you don't die, if you're captured by Ukrainian forces, well, now you're a prisoner of war. At least one Kenyan confirmed in Ukrainian custody as of November of 2025, consular reports. Here's the thing about being a prisoner of war, or POW. When you are Kenyan, Ukraine doesn't have beef with Kenya. They know you're not the enemy. You are a victim, but you're also evidence of Russia recruiting Africans. So you wait in a cell while diplomats argue. Let me be very clear. Russia is using African men, Kenyans, Tanzanians, Zambians, Ugandans, as cannon fodder. They are not allies. They are not volunteers in any meaningful sense. They are exploited labor, sent to die in a war that has nothing to do with them. These are not mercenaries. That word implies choice, money, professionalism. These are workers who are lied to, trapped, and finally killed. And their families don't even get the bodies back. All right. So Kenyans are dying in Ukraine. The government knows. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has said, they know. So what are they doing about it? Oh, you sweet summer child. What do you think they are doing? Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs statement, November 12, 2025, on Reuters. Over 200 Kenyans may have joined the Russian military. Recruitment networks remain active. We are monitoring the situation. Monitoring the situation. Ah, yes. The classic government response to crisis. Monitor, issue a statement, maybe form a task force, and then hope it goes away. Look, to be fair, this is hard. Kenya doesn't even have leverage over Russia. We are not a military power. We can't exactly call Putin and say, hey man, stop recruiting our chaps, man. Diplomacy is complicated. But you know what? What's not complicated? Shutting down recruitment networks in Kenya, arresting brokers, warning young men, regulating labor export agencies that we can do, and we sadly are not. When a Kenyan dies abroad, the embassy is supposed to help. Help repatriate the body, support the family, at minimum, confirm what happened. But when the death happens in a war zone, when Russia doesn't acknowledge foreign fighters, when there is no body, no official record, no death certificate, families are left with nothing. A WhatsApp message that stops, a phone that goes dead, and the ultimate silence. I spoke to advocates who work with these families. I'm not naming them. These families have been through enough. But here's the pattern. My son said he got a job in Russia, construction. He sent money for 3 months. Then nothing. I called the agency. They said we don't know. I called the embassy. They said file a missing persons report. 6 months later, someone tells me he's dead. In Ukraine, no body, no confirmation, no help. And then because cruelty has no flaw, the families are told if you want the body back, you have to pay. So a mother in Kisii is sending WhatsApp messages. Please help me bring my son home. And relatives are contributing 500 bob, 1,000 bob to a GoFundMe for a war they didn't even know their son was in. That's indecent. The word for that is indecent. Your government should do that. That's what governments are for. And here's the final insult. When families do come forward, they face stigma. Because in the narrative in Kenya is, oh, he was a mercenary. He chose that. He is a traitor. Why should we care that they went to fight for Russia? They wanted quick money. They got what they deserved. No, stop. That is exactly what recruiters want you to think. Because if families are ashamed, then they stay silent. If they stay silent, then the recruitment continues. Shame is a tool of exploitation. These men were workers who were lied to, trapped, killed. Their families are victims. So treat them like they are. And then there are the ones we don't even know about. Social media posts, unverified, from families asking, has anyone seen my brother? I can't confirm those cases. Maybe they're fine. Maybe they're dead. Maybe they changed their minds and are living in Moscow. But the fact that the families have to use Facebook to find their sons because official channels are useless, that tells you everything. Okay, let's talk money. Because every tragedy has a business model. And this one is profitable. Step 1, the ad. Posted in Kenyan job groups, expert forums, sometimes even LinkedIn. Work in Russia, good pay, visa provided. Apply now. Step 2, the broker. A guy in Nairobi or Mombasa, Kisumu, he's a Kenyan. So you trust, you give him trust. He says, I've sent 20 guys already. They're all doing great. Just pay the fee. Placement fee is about 50,000 to 150,000 Kenya shillings. This covers visa, processing, ticket, deposit, agency fees. So you pay because you have to. Maybe you borrow from your family, maybe you sell something. Now you're in debt, which means that you have to go. Step 3, the Russian contact. Could be a labor agency, could be a shell company, could be directly linked to the military. We don't even know because investigative reporting hits a wall in Russia every time they try to investigate. But here's what we do know. Russia's military is desperate. They've lost hundreds of thousands of soldiers. They need bodies, and bodies from Africa are cheap, expandable, no political cost back home. Once you're in Russia, they take your passport. For registration, they say. Standard procedure, except now you can't leave. Now you can't go to the Kenyan embassy. You have no ID. You can't even buy a ticket back home. You have no money. And that contract you signed, the one in Russian, turns out it says, I voluntarily enlist in the armed forces of the Russian Federation for a minimum term of 1 year, deployable to combat zones. You didn't even know that, but you signed it. And now your property. So who's making money here? Kenyan brokers, Russian recruiters, the Russian state. Everybody wins except the Kenyan man in the trench. He doesn't win. He dies. Now, Kenya has laws about labor export. The National Employment Authority is supposed to regulate agencies. You need a license. You need to prove the job is real, the contract is fair, and the worker is protected. But enforcement? There are hundreds of unlicensed brokers operating on WhatsApp only, meeting guys in cafes, and the government monitoring the situation. The government themselves have their own form of this labor export that has utterly failed, that has numerous stories that are so horrid that they've sent people to the Gulf, and when they arrive there, there's no one to pick them. There's no jobs. They are being mistreated, and they are held at a price because the companies that were supposed to bring them in already paid for their visa fees, so they can be used or utilized for anything they find or deem fit. And it's not just shady guys in back rooms anymore. Recruitment is happening in public. Facebook groups, Kenyans working abroad, Russia Jobs 2025, Telegram channels with thousands of members. I'm not going to name the groups. I don't want to drive traffic, but they're there right now, recruiting, and Facebook moderation completely non-existent. So if you're wondering why this keeps happening, it's because it is goddamn easy. It is profitable, and nobody is stopping it. So what can be done? All right, deep breath, because this part is where I'm supposed to offer solutions, and I will. But I need you to understand this problem is solvable. It is not complicated. It just requires the government to do its job. I know, wild concept. Arrest the brokers. Raid the agencies, prosecute trafficking. We have anti-trafficking laws. Use them. Number 2, regulate labor export. Mandatory verification of foreign employers. No license, no recruitment, and that is period. Number 3, public awareness campaigns. TV, radio, social media. If a job sounds too good to be true, it is. Warn people loudly. Number 4, strengthen consular support. When a Kenyan dies abroad, war or not, the government brings them home. No fundraisers, no family begging on WhatsApp. The state handles every little bit of the process. Number 5, diplomatic pressure. Kenya has a voice in the UN, the AU, regional blocs. Let us use it. Call out Russia for recruiting African citizens, for heaven's sake, into the military. Make it a scandal. And what can communities do? You don't have to wait for the government. Here's what you and I can do today. Number 1, verify employers. Google the company. When your sister, your brother, anyone in your family tells you they've seen a job ad on one of these social media pages, verify the company even exists. Check for their reviews. Ask for a Kenyan contact. Never pay upfront. Legit jobs do not charge you to work. People, let's read contracts. Let's get them translated. I know we are desperate, but don't sign anything you do not understand. Stay connected. Please share your employer's address, phone, contract with people in your circle, your family, your friends. You know that guy that already has a good job that can be able to check through and confirm, is this thing legit? Share that contract with them. Check in week, know your embassy. If you travel to any foreign country, the first thing that you need to do is know your embassy. Register in your embassy. Let them know that you've arrived and you are in the country where you are living. Save their contact info. If something feels wrong, my guy, be a canary. Call them. And if someone you know is considering a job in Russia right now, please talk to them. Show them this episode. Let them think twice, because the best time to save anyone or save him or her is before they leave home. If you see any of this, walk away. I don't care how desperate you are. These are signs of a trap. All of these things that you've seen on screen are the signs. They are the red flags that we keep talking about. So if you see any of them, my guy, I plead with you as a brother. I know times are hard, and I know Kenya is Kenyaing and Ruto is Rutoing, and we are not making ends meet. But if you see any of these signs, please walk away. Look, I know you're thinking, but DY, I need the money. My family is counting on me. I don't even have any other options. I've tried, I've fought, I've chased down ideas. I've gone for Nyota Fund. They give me 26K and I don't even know what to do. I've tried all the businesses that I can do. I have zero. I have gotten to my end. I have no more options. And let me tell you something. I hear you. I really do. But here's the truth. There's no amount of money worth dying for in a foreign trench. There is no job worth becoming a statistic. There's no dream big enough or worth your mother burying an empty coffin because your body is in Ukraine and nobody will be able to bring it back home. Bro, you have value. Your life has value, not because of what you can earn or send home or even achieve, because you exist. And Kenya, broken, frustrating, infuriating Kenya, needs you here, alive, fighting for change, not dead in a war that has nothing to do with us. This episode is free. Share it. Put it on your WhatsApp status. Send it to your cousin who's thinking about Russia. Make it impossible for recruiters to operate in silence. Clinton Nyapara Mogesa from Kisii, reported dead in Ukraine February of 2026. Nemes Tarimo from Mbeya, Tanzania, killed in Ukraine December 2025. And over 200 other Kenyans whose names we don't even know. This is the cost of inequality. This is what happens when your economy tells young men, you are worthless here. Go sell yourself somewhere else. This is what happens when governments regulate everything except industries that exploit the poor. Recruiters turned Kenyan lives into export commodities. Russia turned them into cannon fodder. And Kenya monitored the situation. That's not good enough. It's not good enough for Clinton's family. It's not good enough for the mothers waiting for phone calls that will never ever come. It's not good enough for the young men right now scrolling Facebook, looking at job ads, thinking maybe this is how I get my family out of the quagmire that the poverty has put them in. There's no way out that ends in a Ukrainian trench. There is no dream that requires you to die for Vladimir Putin. There is no amount of money that will ever make you expendable. So, to the government, do your job. Shut down the networks. Bring our people home. Protect the ones still here. To the recruiters, we see you, we are documenting you, and one day, maybe not today, but maybe not even this year, but one day, you will answer for this. And to our young men watching this, please, your life is worth much more than this. Kenya is hard, I know, but you belong here, alive, with your family, with your community, not exported, not forgotten, not dead. In loving memory of Clinton Nyapara Mogesa and all Kenyans lost to wars not their own. This episode is dedicated to the families still waiting for answers. You're not forgotten.